Hello, everyone. There's another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me. What I want to talk about in this video is a topic that's dear to my heart because there are a lot of different certain concepts of pop culture that I really, really like, and I never stopped liking them. I still do like them. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about a topic that deals with pop culture, and that is that there is this complaint right now for the year 2022 having too many white directors, okay? That there's this complaint that there are too many white directors and there are not enough diverse white directors or white actors. Now, you hear this quite often, and this has always been a complaint in Hollywood from the beginning. But really, is that really what the issue is today? Is it really about bringing true diversity and true skill and talent from other races? Or is it all about what do they call it? Identity politics. Is that what it's all about? I think it's the other side. I think it's identity politics, and it's not about trying to hire truly talented directors and truly talented actors that may be Black or Hispanic or Asian. That's not what it's about. It's all about identity politics, and it's all about keeping division, not about hiring people who are truly talented, in my opinion. But let's get into this article, and then I'm going to give you a detailed commentary on this whole concept of diversity and skill sets. So let's get right into this article. And it starts off as it was interesting because the article has 4 pictures of 4 different directors. All of them are white. And you can see that in the description box below. You can type up the email address for that and find out for yourself and read for yourself. All 4 of the directors are white, but I'm going to get into the detail of that. The articles, and by the way, let me reiterate something that is very important. This is an opinion piece that I'm reading. This article is mostly an opinion piece, so it will come off as an opinion, but it's an opinion that I agree with to a large extent. So I'm going to read this opinion piece, and then I'm going to give my opinion. Okay, so it starts off, when it comes to diversity, Hollywood is having trouble practicing what it preaches. The entertainment industry is failing spectacularly in its effort to diversify its behind-the-camera talent, with a new study showing that the number of female and minority movie directors employed by the studios actually dropped in 2022. The new report from the USC Annenberg's Inclusive Initiative, wow, these names, found that of the 111 directors hired to make the 100 top grossing movies of 2022, only, what does it say? Oh, they mispronounced the word there. Only 9% were women. I'm pretty sure they meant only 9% were women. Only 9% were women, down from 12.7% in 2021. In 2019, the figure stood at 12%. The number of ethnic minority movie directors in the top 100 also fell from 27.3% in 2021 down to 20.7% in 2022. The declines come as Hollywood continues to aggressively promote diversity to audiences through its movies and TV shows. Diverse casting is now commonplace, and that's so true. Every time you look around, you see all these diverse characters. But I can't help, and I don't want to give my commentary away too much, but I can't help but wonder. Let me read the rest of this paragraph, and I'm going to tell you. It's now commonplace, even in period European storylines, while gay and transgender characters are proliferating in children's entertainment. I can't help but wonder that these so-called diverse characters that are being hired by these casting directors, are they hiring these people because of their talents and abilities or because of identity politics? We just want to fill in the numbers. See, to me, that's racist. That's racist because you're not hiring me because of my talent. You're hiring me because of my race. But let's go on. But for some reason, the industry is having trouble following its own lecture. Among the worst offenders was the Walt Disney Company, of course, which includes what was formerly known as 20th Century Fox. Walt Disney Studios didn't hire any women directors for its 2022 releases, according to the study. Neither did Lionsgate, Paramount Pictures, or STX Entertainment. Disney did better when it came to minority directors, with 4 movies in 2022 helmed by ethnic minorities, including Ryan Coogler, who directed Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Universal Pictures outperformed all other studios when it came to minority directors, with 5 of its 2022 theatrical releases helmed by non-white directors, including Jordan Peele's Nope. And I didn't see Nope, but what I did see was Get Out by Jordan Peele, Get Out, and Us. In my opinion, Jordan Peele is a very talented director, very talented, very creative, and it seems to indicate to me that when he is hired to do a directorial movie, they're hiring him because this man is talented. I mean, if you watched Peele and Keely and Peele, I believe that's how you pronounce it, the sketch comedy show, those 2 guys have me laughing so hard, I can't take it. I've been on my job watching on my break, and I'd be sitting at the chair cracking up. And people some of my employees be looking at me like, what in the world is he laughing at? I can't hold it in. They crack me up. And because the sketches are so funny, but they're also very original and very well done and very realistic. And I'm pretty sure Jordan Peele has something to do about that. He's a very talented director. So it leads me to believe that when he's hired to direct a film, he's hired because of his talent, not because he's black. Okay? Because the man truly is talented. Get Out and Us, I didn't see Nope, but Get Out and Us was awesome. And I personally liked Us better. Us blew me away. Now, some people may disagree with that, but that's my opinion. Us blew me away, okay? That just blew me away. That was on a whole nother level because I believe in some of those type of things. And so, yeah, it just blew me away. But he's an extremely talented director, in my opinion. Now, let's go on. Diversity mandate has insinuated itself in nearly every aspect of Hollywood. True. A diversity mandate. They mandating that you guys diversify how these actors and so forth. We demand that you do that. But are you demanding that based on talent or race alone? Let's go on. This month, NBC will air the Golden Globes after banishing the annual awards show last year because the organization behind the ceremony, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, had no black voting members. Now, this, they banished it, right? Because there's no black voting members. But could it be that there's no black voting members because no one black wanted to be a part of it? Is that a possibility? We can't assume that because there's no blacks that they are discriminating against blacks or people who are not white. We can't make that assumption unless we can prove it. But see, this is what happens when politics get into pop culture. This is what happens. You cause problems and you start mandating people do things that has nothing to do with talent and skill level, but has everything to do with your race and everything to do with your gender. So you end up getting people in positions that ain't worth 10 cents, ain't worth a dead fly squashed. I'm like, what is this? It sucks. Well, he in there because it's a woman or a transgender or a black person. But what about talent? Let's go on. It says had no black voting members. Since then, the HFPA has diversified its ranks, recently announcing that its membership is now majority female and ethnic minority. And that's the end of that article right there. Okay. You saying that it's majority, whatever. But is that good or bad? Now, in my opinion, it would be good if these people truly have talent. If when they vote, they're voting based on people's directional skills, writing skills, and whatever other skills that need to be possessed for that particular film. Now, this is where I have a problem with when it comes down to pop culture and when it comes down to acting and writing. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I am a fiction writer. And when I say I'm a fiction writer, I'm not talking about one of these people that I just want to be a writer and not doing anything. I'm serious about my writing. Okay, I've been doing it for years. I'm the real deal Holyfield. Okay, I'm the real deal Holyfield. I'm not faking it and none of that. I'm the real deal. And if anyone read any of my short stories, they'll know I am the real deal. If anyone read any of my books, they'll know I am the real deal. Okay. I did have 3 of my short stories published, but the reason why a lot of my stories have not been published is because I don't think they're good enough to be published, because I'm serious about my writing. Now, let me say this about my writing. When I write my characters, now I'm connecting this to the article so you would see what I'm talking about. When I write my characters, I never, ever, ever, unless it's really, really, really important, and it hasn't been up to this point, give the race of my particular characters. I'll give the gender by using the pronouns, person pronouns he and she, but I never give the race of the gender of the individuals. I never give their race. And the reason for that is because when I send my work out to publishing agencies, I want them to look at my work and like my work and publish my work because they love how well written it is. They love the characters. They love the description. They love all the mechanics that go into good fiction writing. And the 3 short stories that I did have published, that was why they were published. And the publishers told me so. And the writings had nothing to do with black issues, although nothing's wrong with that. That's not the way I flow. I flow the way Ryan flows. If people don't like that, you ain't got to read my stories. You ain't got to watch my videos. You don't have to do any of that. I'm going to be me. I'm too old anyway to try to be anybody else. Now, so I want to be hired. I want my work to be published because of how good it is, not because of my race. I feel that if someone hires me because of my race, to me, that's racism. Because what you are suggesting to me or implying is that as a black man, I simply don't have what it takes to get the job done. So this hiring person is just going to hire me because I'm black. Never mind my talent, never mind my degrees, never mind my skill levels, never mind my education. I'm going to hire this person because they're black. Doesn't anyone ever think about that? When we talk about diversity, what a lot of people don't know about me is that what they do, they'll look at me and they'll approach me and they'll start talking to me, but that's because I'm an approachable person, or I try to be. I try to be an approachable person. Nowadays, I'm a little bit more discerning because people are so quacky, but I try to be an approachable person, someone that you can talk to. But oftentimes, whether they be black or white, people assume that because and when I say whether they be black or white, I'm talking about the people that approach me. People assume because I'm black that I'm going to talk a certain way and that I'm going to like certain kinds of things, like rap music. I never liked rap music, even in the 80s. The rap music that I did hear, I wasn't initiating it. I wasn't like, ooh, let me listen to Run DMC. Ooh, let me listen to this. I had no other option to hear because everybody else was playing it, so I had no other option to hear it. And a lot of it was cool, it was good, but it wasn't something that I could really rock to. You want to know what I really liked in the 80s and still do? Rock and roll. Now, what a lot of people don't know about rock and roll is that rock and roll originated with black people just like jazz did. That's what a lot of people don't know. They say, well, you liking white music. No, first of all, you dumbo. It wasn't white music. Started off, God forgive me. I don't mean it that way. Let me take that back. But no. Know your history. Rock music started off with black people. It originated with black people. Okay. Little Richard, Chuck Berry, and Little Richard even said that I'm the architect of rock and roll. You know, he used to say that all the time. Okay, it originated with them. But what happened was, as white people began to take over, I don't want to use the term take over, but when white music studio producers began to avail themselves of rock and roll, what they did was they built upon it and expanded it among the white audiences, which is the bigger audience. Okay, they expanded it among them. And then you had all these white groups that came out and began to embellish on what originated with black rock and roll artists. So when you say rock and roll, what automatically comes to your mind? White rock and roll groups. I've loved rock and roll groups from the 70s and the 80s. Now the 90s, but 70s and 80s, that's what I am. When you talk about the 70s, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, okay, Fleetwood Mac. We talk about the 80s, Quiet Riot, Twisted Sister. Okay, when you talk about the 80s, I was into a lot of the pop music. A lot of the pop music was mostly white oriented. I was into new wave music. New wave music was music that originated in Europe and came over here to America. New wave music is punk music refined for American taste. I know this because I watched a documentary on it. And they interviewed an individual who knew the music back in those days and understood the mechanics. And she said that it was punk music refined for American taste. You want to know who these new wave groups were? The Culture Club, the Police, all those different groups. Oh, I can name them now. It's a bunch of them. Those were the new wave pop groups that came from Europe into America in the 80s. I was into those guys. That would be considered white music. But that was music I liked then and still do like. When I became a writer, okay, of fiction, guess who influenced me in my writing? The person that influenced me in my writing was Stephen King. Because I had a ton of his books. In fact, believe it or not, a missionary in my church, in my former church, excuse me, back in the 80s in my former church, she gave me all of her Stephen King books because I guess she figured she didn't want them anymore. I guess she figured there wasn't all that, they was dark or whatever. But she knew I was into horror movies, and I had become I was a born again Christian. But she knew there wasn't nothing wrong with that, so she gave all her books, her Stephen King books, to me. And I started reading his books, and the first one I read was Carrie. Blew me away. That was the book that prompted me to say, I want to do this. And so I started getting into writing. The people that influenced me the most in my fiction writing was a white man by the name of Stephen King. It wasn't black writers, although I respect those guys. It wasn't black writers because most of the black writers, particularly from that time period, mostly wrote, not all of them, but mostly wrote about issues dealing with black situations. And that wasn't the way I flowed then. That's not the way I flow now. I'm a diverse person. Okay, I diversify in all my areas. Now, I'm not saying that I might not write about something that deals with black issues in the future, but I'm going to write it the way I see it, not the way everybody else wants it to be. It might sell and it might not sell, but I believe in my heart it will sell because I'm a good writer. And I'm becoming better at what I do. I'm not bragging. It took years to get to where I am now, but I know I'm a good enough writer to compete with the best. I know that much. I know that because I'm serious about it, but I'm serious about it the way I do it, not the way everybody else dictates to me how I should do it. And this whole thing about diversity, when it deals with this article in Hollywood, are they hiring people, these black people, black actors, black directors, because of their skill set or because they're black or Hispanic or Asian or whatever? I say the latter. They're doing it because they're black. They want to fulfill a mandate, just like in job situations. They want to fulfill a mandate. Don't you think that's racist? In my opinion, that's true racism. You still being racist if you hire me just simply because I'm black. You still being racist if you give me that position because I'm black. To me, you still being racist Because what you are implying, once again, in the closing of this video, because what you are implying is that I'm hiring you. I don't think, rather, that you are capable or have the skill set or the education or the experience to do this job on your own. So I'm going to hire you because of your race. To me, that's you basically saying that I'm inferior in an indirect way. I'm just saying that's my spin on it. So this whole idea of 2022 is too white is a bunch of nonsense to me. It's a bunch of nonsense to me. Let's get some real talented people out there that may be black, like Jordan Peele, okay? But there's just not that many out there because there aren't that many black actors and black directors. You can't make people be black actors and black directors. You can't do that. You can't go out here unless you do a scout and say, how many people you want to, go out there and do a marketing campaign to try to get more black people into the acting and directing field. But other than that, they don't want to do that. Most of black, well, I won't say most, but a significant number of younger black people, they want to be rappers and sports figures. That's what they want to be. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. You know not all of them, but a significant number of them, most of them do. And you know I'm telling the truth. What you gonna do? What can you do? That's just my spin on it. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all, and see you again.